Quick Slants is presented by your local New England Honda dealers.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we got him, the trapdoor. It works every single time. Phil Perry in for Tom Curran. We have all kinds of Patriots thoughts from that preseason game last week, but also from practice today. Mike Giardi in with us. I want to start with this, though. I really feel as though the New England Patriots' new offense was that close to showing off its explosive potential in 2023 on Saturday. And you know what? It's okay for you to be fired up about it. Remember when back in 2009, Bill Belichick watched film with his players and he told them, quote, "You should be excited when you make a play. Hell, look at all the work you put into it." Well, fast forward 14 years, and now I say to you, you should be excited when your team almost makes a play. Here's why. Think about all that went into being a fan last year. Now, after just one preseason performance from Patriots starters, you're already seeing Mac Jones and Bill O'Brien's work bear a little fruit, even when they miss, as they did deep, to Hunter Henry and Devontae Parker against the Packers. There was creativity, aggressiveness, good decision-making, answers available to Jones under duress. Imagine they were all present in just 3 drives on Saturday. It wasn't perfect. We'll get to the issues facing the Patriots' offensive line, believe me. But as far as what you saw from the 2 most important people on that side of the ball are concerned, yes, you should be excited. I'm excited about the game plan. The game plan tonight. We're talking injury updates. Got a few nuggets from practice today. Again, Giardi was there. I was there. We're filling you in. Alabama Mac is back. Interesting comments from Mac Jones this week. And Devin McCourty checking in. Plus, we have polls and comments we're hearing from the people. But first, let's welcome in Mike Giardi and get, Mike, your number 1 takeaway from today's practice on those fields behind Gillette Stadium.
Ezekiel Elliott getting more and more involved in the offense. Phil working with some of the primary guys on offense. Let's just leave it at that because we don't want to get in trouble with the Patriots. But nice to see him out there. A little quickness, the juice, and then, oh, by the way, caught a pass, 7-8 yards, and then feed me more, feed me more. He's going to bring a different kind of energy to the team. Adrian Phillips was talking about him. He said, he got to Green Bay and he just started introducing himself to guys around the locker room. And he's like, I know him. I mean, at least I know of him. I played against him, but I never actually met him. He's just trying to ingratiate himself in with the team. Good to see. And again, I don't want to take too many touches away from Ramondre Stevenson. I'm begging that Ramondre still gets a ton of touches, but Elliott as the backup is a nice little thing here and a change of pace for the Patriots. Give Stevenson a breather when they need to, but again, still going to ride Ramondre in this season.
No question. Zeke did come up a little gimpy from what I saw after catching one pass from Mac Jones. He stayed in the practice. We'll monitor his availability moving forward. Time now for Quickfire, presented by your local New England Honda dealers. First, here's a look at the Patriots' weapons today out of practice. In Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Juju Smith-Schuster. You had Kayshon Boutte, as well as Hunter Henry. Limited was Pop Douglas, everybody's favorite receiver this year. Mike Gesicki limited as well with a red jersey on today. And out, Tyquan Thornton still hurting after injuring himself in Green Bay. So that kicks off Quickfire. Giardi, who's in, who's out? What'd you make of all of the mess, honestly, with the Patriots' weapons at practice today? Some good news, but some bad as well with Douglas there.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, nice to see Mike Gesicki out there because I thought when the injury happened and some of the reporting based on the injury didn't make me feel as comfortable about it as maybe the initial tweets would have you believe. But then, he was out there today, and again, with the red non-contact jersey, but participating with the first team guys, getting a lot of throws his way. And then after practice, working with the jugs machine, I thought that was a good sign for him. And that maybe, just maybe, week 1 is not out of the realm of possibility, Phil.
No, I think, listen, we should be trying to see if he has the ability to get out there and play in week 1 if you're the New England Patriots, because he could be a really critical piece to what they do, especially in the red zone. Ty Montgomery actually made his way back to practice today. Does he make his way onto the 53-man roster? We will see. Now let's go to tackle trade. Is it time for Bill Belichick to start making some calls, or Matt Groh start making some calls, Mike? Because out at tackle today, you still had Sidney So on the right side of Mac Jones. You even saw a little Bill Murray, defensive tackle, converted to guard, now maybe converted to tackle. What are they going to do at this position?
They need more there, and I think we probably felt that way heading into the offseason, and then after what they did in free agency and after what they didn't do in the draft, still feeling like they need more. Yeah, I would be on the phone. I would still be looking for somebody. But look, offensive line across the league, it's a really hard position to fill. There aren't too many really good offensive lines in the league. So guys that are good players, they're not really going to be available, or if they are available, well, there's got to be a reason for it. So look, I'm sure they're going to make some calls. I'm sure they're going to scour the waiver wire. But City So's got a lot of reps at right tackle, and I almost wonder at this point, if you're Bill O'Brien, you're Bill Belichick, you say, we can kind of coach around this, Phil. We can kind of live with this, and if he continues to improve like we think he can, then maybe we have our own solution in-house.
How often have we heard consistency matters up front for those guys? You have to see things through the same set of eyes. It's been so, and Reef at guard for the last couple of weeks now. It feels like they're trying to get those guys ready in case they have to play week 1. Okay, Malik Cunningham was everyone's favorite player after the first preseason game of the summer against the Texans, showing off his running and passing ability. But then in preseason game number 2, he didn't get to play at all. At quarterback, at least. He had 5 targets, didn't come up with a catch. What do you do with Malik Cunningham if you're trying to put together this 53-man roster, Mike?
So I still have him on my 53, but I'll tell you what, I was talking to a very wise man named Phil Perry at practice today, and you could easily make the case that, look, I think you could probably put him on waivers and likely feel like he's not going to get claimed. I just think at this point, who wants to put him on their 53? That's what you got to do if you claim him off that waiver wire for 3 weeks. Who wants to do that? You've had guys you've been working with for months and in some cases for over a year that have been on your practice squad, or rookies that you brought in that know your system. You'd have to bring that guy in and then teach him rapid fire your system. And oh, by the way, what is he? Because at wide receiver, hasn't really shown a ton. And a quarterback, it was a brief little snippet in the fourth quarter of preseason game number 1 against a lot of guys that won't be playing football in a few weeks.
Indications I've gotten from conversations I've had with folks in the league are that you might have an easier time getting Malik Cunningham through waivers and onto your practice squad than another Patriots rookie receiver who we will talk about very soon. But first, we're talking about the rookie kicker, Hanging Chad. Mike, we were out there today, 3 straight misses, all of them left. The last one, almost 20 feet left of the left upright. Brutal day for the rookie kicker. Are you keeping Nick Folk as well as Chad Riley? He was a 4th-round pick. You can't get rid of him, right?
Yeah, holy shankopotamus on that third one. I mean, just so far left. You're like, clearly in his head. I will say that later on, he did nail one right down the middle and maybe get his confidence going again. But look, that's been an interesting competition because I don't think Ryland has run away with it. The problem with Nick Folk is, and we saw it late last year, he just doesn't have the leg anymore. When it starts to get cold, even though he's incredibly accurate, you're talking about 42, 43-yard field goals are a challenge for him. 50 is pretty much out of the question. Obviously, Ryland has the leg for that, but does he have the accuracy? If you can get Nick Folk to the veteran practice squad, keep him here, let Ryland start the season off, I think that's probably the best way to handle the situation.
All right, let's get to our booty call here, Mike. Kayshon Boutte comes up with the touchdown, shows a little bit of juice. It felt like on that slant that he took to the house in Green Bay. Is he someone who has staying power for the Patriots?
I still don't have him on my 53, and there's a fine line right there. I don't think he's incredibly explosive. I think he's a possession receiver. I think he's got good hands. I think we've seen that here over the last couple of weeks in camp. I think that was a clear miscue by the Packers secondary that led to the touchdown. But what I will say from week 1, where I thought it was an uneventful and sort of forgettable debut for him, to week 2, he played faster. Now, that doesn't mean he's fast, but he played faster. He was thinking less. He was sort of running routes more like you want to be, where you kind of understand where I'm supposed to be. His second catch, not the touchdown, kind of curled up in the zone. Very simple play, simple read. But Malik Cunningham had basically the same play. Malik kind of screwed it up. Boutte didn't. I think that's a good sign for him as he continues to grow. But I'd still be looking at this saying, do I think I can get him to the practice squad? And if I don't, does that mean that I made a big mistake? I don't know that I feel that way yet.
You might have a tougher time. Again, these are the indications that I've gotten. You might have a tougher time getting him through to the practice squad. Hands, body control, big-time pedigree coming out of high school, great early career at LSU. Somebody might want to scoop him up, so maybe you keep him, especially if Pop Douglas is hurt. Okay, time now for From the Stands, and these poll results are brought to you by Shaw's, perfecting the art of fresh. Boy, look at this. Who's your 5th receiver, I asked the people. Boutte or Thornton? And it is a runaway for Kayshon Boutte. Tyquan Thornton. Man, people forget all that speed that he showed last summer. Let's get to the comments. Harry, he says, I'd rather have the more durable player, so I'd go with Boutte. Thornton may have speed, but in my mind, too injury prone. Brian says, Kayshon, he's already showed he's more durable than Tyquan, and I think the upside is higher with him. might have a different opinion if Taekwon lit it up this offseason and stayed healthy. And Tyler asks, pup Taekwon? He's talking about the physically unable to perform list. Giardi, not an option, basically. Right. You have to start camp on that list if you want to get onto that list. If they want to save him and stash him, you got to keep him on the 53-man roster, then put him on IR. Then you've got weeks to bring him back midseason. But if they put him on IR now, Mike, he's done for the year. I don't think they want to do that, right?
No, I don't think they want to. I think we're forgetting, again, that pedigree, that speed that he brings on the outside field. They need someone like that in their lineup. They don't have that guy currently on their roster, except for Taekwon. He's someone that on the deep ball to Devontae Parker in the game against the Packers, that's a Taekwon Thornton route, as probably more than it is a Devontae Parker route. Taekwon Thornton with his speed, probably there to get it. Now, again, can't stay on the field, but it's way too early for me to give up on a second-round pick who I thought last summer, before he broke the clavicle, showed signs that maybe they finally had sort of broken their skid of having bad receivers in the second round. Again, hasn't gone great for him this summer, but I think with that talent, you got to keep him around.
That near miss you're talking about to Parker that we saw in the preseason game, they ran the same play, it looked like, at least a very similar play today at practice to Devontae Parker again. Came up
short arm.
Just short again, so they could use Taekwon Thornton and that speed on the field. Coming up, Devin McCourty has had many great moments as a co-host on Quick Slants, but now he's got a big national hotshot. He's too big time for us, right? No. He returns to Quick Slants. It's coming up next.
Slants is brought to you in part by Dr. Matthew Lopresti, the hair doctor of Tom Curran.
Growth Potential is brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti. Look younger, feel younger, get your hair back with Leonard Hair Transplant Associates. Here's the starting offensive line against the Packers last week. Trent Brown at left tackle, Antonio Mafi, fifth-round rookie at left guard, David Andrews at center, Riley Reif at guard, never played guard before in the NFL, and Sidy Sow, fourth-round rookie at right tackle. Trent, of course, played 11 snaps, hasn't done much this summer. Here's Devin McCourty, new national media guy, giving us hot takes on the Patriots' offensive line and much more.
Let's start first with a question. Since you are a member of the media, and since you've been issued, I'm sure, your media panic meter, right? Because as soon as any of us accept a job in the media, we all get a panic meter. So I want to make you really uncomfortable off the bat because you're doing your twin cast now, Sunday Night Football. You've got takes and completely unbiased Patriots takes, I'm sure. Where's your panic meter, 1 to 10, when it comes to this Patriots offensive line? Let's see how uncomfortable we can make you right off the bat.
1 to 10, second week of preseason. Cole Strange is out. Big Mike is out. I call it. I would give it an honest 5. Strictly from the outside looking in, I don't know where the health of those guys are at. I would assume for Big Mike, there will be some type of ramp-up period. So until he's back on the field, I would assume he's not out there. Cole, I could see him coming back at any time. But we only have one game of actual footage of the offensive line. Now, you guys have been privy to watching practice every day. I haven't. So I say 5 because there were some good moments in the game, and there were some moments that'll lose a game. The straight sack off the edge will lose a football game. So if I know Bill, he's in there going nuts over the bad, but he's also sitting in a staff meeting like, let's continue to progress in some of this good. But week 1 against Philly, like, you would hope this looks a little better Friday night. So my panic meter could be a little higher if they leave out on a Friday against Tennessee, not as well as you would hope for.
When it comes to the offense, when it comes to Mac Jones in particular, and maybe Bill O'Brien and some of the things you've seen from him, again, you're watching these preseason games closely. Obviously, the starters have really only played in one of them, but have you been encouraged by what you've seen from Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones and how they've worked together? It looked like they had a few interesting wrinkles, RPOs, some play action shots down the field in that second preseason game in Green Bay.
Yeah, I think everyone's been talking about it as soon as Billy O got fired. He's a pro's pro. He's called offense at a high level, not just in New England with Tom Brady. He went to Penn State, so he has a little bit of that college background where RPOs really got, going a few years ago. Then he went to Alabama. Like, you've seen this guy, do offense well. So I think you saw that. You saw them being in multiple different things. I think even the first game against Houston with no starters, you saw some of the concepts trying to leak out. But again, they couldn't block anybody against Houston. And you saw when they did get a hat on a hat, block some people, You saw whether it was Mack in there, whether it was Zappy in there, you saw them, the ability to be in different things. And I thought one of the best plays was when Mack stepped up, tried to deliver the deep ball to Devontae Parker, the DP, miss it a little bit. And, on Twincast, I said it. Tyquan Thornton will be a little different running that route. The speed, DP's more of a guy that's going to go up and get the ball. You want to throw that in tight windows. That's what he does. So I think when they have the full gamut of receivers, you'll see even more from this offense. And the guy I'm most excited about, Kendrick Bourne, has a heck of a year this year, I think. Being in that offense, I think he's the most multiple receiver they have, inside, outside, a little bit of vertical, crushes intermediate, short route guy. I think they're going to be able to use him in a lot of different ways. He's having a big year this year.
Let me ask you this one. Who's replacing Devin McCourty at free safety for the Patriots this year?
I don't think it's a question anymore. I think that was such a big question going into the offseason because of the length of time that I was there, how long I was able to do, the things I did on the field. But I think you saw throughout this preseason, whether it's been Jalen Mills been in there, London, both of you, go downstairs right now. Sorry about that. Whether it's been Jay Mills in there, who's made a ton of plays in the preseason, but you saw this past game, he didn't even start. They had Duggar in there. They had Pep in there. They had AP in there. So I think between the four of those guys as veterans, they're going to do a great job playing safety. And I think we still haven't seen Mapu Marte out there and what he'll be able to do between linebacker and safety. So I think the replacement kind of question really is out the window. I think it's how well and how much production they're going to get out of these guys. Because I think so far they've showed they're going to be able to be out there communicating, be in the right positions, make plays. It's going to be how dominant they can be out there.
How about Christian Gonzalez, Devin? Obviously many in New England think of you as a safety, but they also would remember your rookie year when you had a phenomenal rookie year at the cornerback position. Now the Patriots have another first-round corner on their roster. They're going to rely on him a lot, it looks like, in 2023 here. Can he be rookie year Devin McCourty? Do you think he can give them that kind of production?
Yeah, I think for him, when I came in as a rookie, all eyes weren't really on me to be like the guy, like they need this guy. For one, a lot of people were disappointed in me getting drafted in the first round. So I didn't have as much pressure. I just came in and played football and was able to make some plays. I think for him, he comes in so highly touted, right? I think when you talk about first round draft picks, for one, everyone, draft day comes, everyone gets excited, and then Bill usually trades back. This year, everyone's talking about Witherspoon and Gonzalez, who's going to go be the first corner. So, when he dropped and the Patriots got him, every fan knew him and was so excited. Like, we can't wait to get this guy. And that just brings on so much pressure. But I think if you go by watching training camp early, the way he's played in games, you got to be excited. I think he showed, I am the guy you thought coming out when it comes to covering skills and covering guys up. And I think he showed that I'm going to use this big frame in the NFL. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to go tackle. I'm going to do those things. So I think, obviously you got to watch week by week how this develops. That's one of your hardest years is your rookie year. You don't know what to expect. But I think it looks pretty good, I would say, overall for this whole Patriots draft class so far. Watching, Keon White out there, everybody raving about Marte out of the practices. So they got to be excited with some of these guys, and I think Gonzalez leads that group.
To Devin McCourty and really to the entire McCourty family there. You can catch much more of that conversation on the Patriots Talk podcast, by the way. Okay, here's Mac's stats under pressure his first 2 years in the league. You can see there, 2022, it's a mess. Bottom of the league, 35.1 quarterback rating when under pressure. So when someone's breathing down his neck, that ain't good. 2021, much better in towards the middle of the pack in terms of all quarterbacks across the NFL. You can see there too, he's getting rid of the ball more quickly as a rookie when under pressure. Here's Adrian Phillips on how Jones is continuing to progress now in year 3.
I just think overall he's a way better quarterback. He took last year on the chin. He'll be the first one to tell you that, that's not how he wanted to play. And for all of us, that's not how any of us wanted to play. But he'll be the first to tell you that. And he's coming out here every single day, and he's trying to light our defense up.
All right, it's time now for my slant. Now, people are getting on Mac Jones, it seems, about discussing, both with WEEI and Sports Illustrated this week, how he'd like to rediscover, quote-unquote, Alabama Mac. Can we all acknowledge that's actually a worthwhile pursuit? Feels like a pretty straightforward psychological tactic, doesn't it? Just because you'd like to remember the good times doesn't mean you're living in the past. And the good times rolled for the Crimson Tide with Mac Jones behind center. Finding Alabama Mac, as far as I can tell, is about playing confidently. That position is dependent on self-belief, as dependent on self-belief as any in sports, especially when it comes to performing under pressure. We just talked about those numbers with 300-pounders breathing down your neck. If hearkening back a few years was what it takes to get him in the right headspace, so be it. Alabama Mac also sounds like a quarterbacking style, according to him. Be a point guard. He has fast guys. He has catch-and-run guys. He has contested catch guys, guards, forwards, centers. He doesn't have a number one. This isn't Alabama in that regard. But what he has is a brain for the position. And he has a coordinator who knows how to coach him up and scheme things up around him. He also has a truly great year on his resume as a distributor. It just came in college. Shouldn't he want to rediscover how that felt, especially after a confidence-rattling 2022? You don't have to like how he vocalizes it, but you can't hate on the pursuit. Can you, Mike Giardi? Can you hate the fact that he's trying to bring back that guy who was back in 2020? One of the best seasons in recent memory when it comes to college quarterbacking.
I'm all about him embracing Alabama Mac. Why not? To your point, that was the best time of his career, his young career. He was awesome there. And even in his first year with the Patriots, that was a pretty good season for a rookie quarterback with a lot on his plate. Last year was a disaster, and he wasn't happy. There was the lack of energy. He was frustrated. All those different things. Now, if you notice him here in practice, Phil, and you have because you've been watching him, there is more energy there. There's more confidence. He's bubbly. He's talking trash to the defenders. Last year, he was talking trash to himself. He was talking trash to the coordinator and the quarterback's coach. Now it's a totally different feel. He looks like a much more comfortable player here in year 3. And I think that's very important for this team. They need to know what they have in their quarterback. And if this is the guy we're going to get with this attitude, this could be a pretty good team.
Fascinated to see how much he plays later this week in Tennessee. Stick around. Thank you very much, Giardi. We've got early edition coming up next. More Patriots talk coming at you.